So hello guys, welcome to this free ETN Central video. First I'll just say sorry about not being around the last few days. Obviously I mentioned in my post that well, it's been a bit rough over the last couple of days and it's still a bit sore now. But anyway, today I'm going to, in this video, talk about, just pop to the news section. I made this post and I was basically just, I was just talking about, don't get disheartened, it could be it's not disheartening for me, but I can understand why people would get disheartened, you know. Um, for me, it's not disheartening because I came into this looking at it as a long term project, and by long term I mean the minimum kind of 5 years. Maybe things start happening before 5 years, but really I'm looking, right, well, let's see where it is in 5 years, you know. And someone else, I read someone, I can't remember who it was, it might have been the community forum, but they were saying that it's basically a lottery ticket for them, you know. And I think that's a good sort of explanation for where I'm coming from. That it's like a lottery ticket. Now I think it's a little less like a lottery ticket because a lottery ticket you pick in random numbers and you get a random result and you have a chance. So it's definitely different for a lottery ticket, right? Because there's so many good things going for Electroneum, and they have the product and the ability to do so many different things very well that I believe that Electroneum has a really good chance of winning. Well, I would talk about lottery tickets, but you get what I mean. I think they have a very good chance to do well, right? And in 5 years, I think Electroneum will be a fairly big player in the sort of payments and well, see, I say the payment space in cryptocurrency. I think yeah, in cryptocurrency too. But when I talk about the payment space, because it's not just about how well they're going to be doing in the crypto world, if they're going to be big in the crypto world, because really it's more about they're a business, really, aren't they? So it's more about how they're going to be doing in their sort of sector, let's say, you know. And I think they're going to have a very, very, very strong presence at Electroneum, and I think the team behind it can back that up and achieve that. So it's different for a lottery ticket because there's a lot of strength within it, whereas a lottery ticket's random. But the reason that I think my view is a lottery ticket is, well, you know what, you buy X amount of ETN and you say, I really like this idea, I think this is really great, I think actually this could do really well, I'm going to purchase it. And I think it's a long term thing. You're not going to throw up something that's going to become a major player in the payments and market just in like a year or 2 years or 6 months or 2 months, as some people seem to think, because all of 2018, all you heard was people expecting this price to just skyrocket through the roof, and you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, the price isn't going to skyrocket. There's nothing to make it skyrocket. Not to mention the crypto market's doing. But I think people say, well, Electroneum does need Bitcoin and all the rest of it. And I think at the moment, Bitcoin is dragging everything up and doing them around a bit. But I think I understand what they're saying, because it's not just a coin that's in the crypto market, and a lot of people like it, and it could be a good idea, and it'll get, you know, raise a lot in value. Its value is going to come from what it's actually doing in the world, like its business is doing, rather than just like speculation, which is what they want. It's what they've said from the start. They don't want to be a speculative coin. They don't. They want to be something that's actually used out there, and they've brought that. Now they have to get out there in action, and obviously they've got plans to do that. For me, then that means that I've bought my Electroneum, I've invested, I've bought a certain amount, I've put it away, and I strongly believe that it's going to be worth something in the future, Electroneum. And if it never amounts to anything, well, it never amounts to anything. You know what I mean? Which I find really hard to believe that would happen. But from my point of view, you've got to look at all possibilities, and one of the possibilities is that it might never come to nothing. You know what I mean? So I keep that open, but do I believe that? No, but I keep it open to being part of what it is, and with that view, you know, you're not sitting worrying about what price is it today, what price is it now. Oh God, it's gone. Oh, it's 0.046. Oh God, it's going down. Oh, now that's only worth that. No, I'm not sitting like that. That's a torture for yourself to do that. You're best to say to yourself, that's what I got. If it's gone, it's gone, and I have a great chance at turning into something significantly more than that. And just take yourself out of that, because it's not a healthy place to be in terms of, like, you should be, you know, a horrible situation where you're just constantly worried, oh, my money's going down, and oh, what's it worth now, and oh, and then that's what I said. As I see the price getting into that sort of region, I start to think, well, for me, it's no problem. You know, I'm no interest in that. The only time I used to check the price of E10 all the time was the first months, and when I was doing the top up course, the ETN, Fiat to ETN. So, you know, but or I'll have a look at it for, you know, pricing, working out, you know, revenue to ETN to, you know what I mean? So I do look at the price. I'm not saying I do look at the price, but what I mean is I'm no, you know what I mean? If I see it's going down or it's going up, I'm not sitting going, oh yes, oh brilliant, it's going up, or here we go, we're going to the moon. And I'm not sitting there going, oh my God, it's going, oh Jesus, where's it going now? And a lot of it's just related into Bitcoin at the moment, that price moving about and swinging about, and you know what I mean? And it's just part of crypto. You know what I mean? There's small, tiny things. If you think about it, if you're checking the price 2 or 3 times a day, or you're checking it all the time, you know what I mean? You're seeing, you know, these tiny blips when should be looking at this project over a 5-year period. If you looked at those little tiny moments, they're really nothing. And we're really in the start of 2019 is going to be like a year where we want to start seeing progress, right? We want to see things happening. And if we start to see things happening, that's going to be a nice good sign, and we're going to be like, you know what, things are getting through, things are getting done, deals are starting to happen, you know. And if things are a bit slower than we expect, then it's no real big worry. And if nothing's really happening, well, you'll be thinking to yourself, well, you know, we need to know what's going to happen, obviously, to get a better idea. But once we get into like 2020, that's really when we want to be saying to ourselves, where are we at now? Have we made a significant process? We're now into the start of the third year, and looking at how we've progressed over the previous 2 years, can we see this realistically coming at the end of 2020, 2021, 2022? Where are we going? And is it realistic that we're going to actually reach those goals? For the moment, you know, it's pointless to be looking at that. And with Electroneum, it's such a low price. It's like a complete bargain. I mean, do you think even in a year or maybe 2 years, just to be on the safe side, the Electroneum is not going to be worth more than half a British pence? Of course it is. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Even if Bitcoin goes up, it's going to drag everything up with it. So you know what I mean? So it's Bitcoin's going to go up as well, because there's going to be a halving with Bitcoin as well. So then the emission rate of Bitcoin is going to drop, which should, in theory, increase the price of Bitcoin from. So you know what I mean? So we're going to get dragged up anyway. I don't know. What I'm saying, but is these are just early days of Electroneum. So you shouldn't be sitting thinking, screw this, nothing's happening, you know what I mean? You should be thinking to yourself, look at this company. They've got a great team. They're doing everything by the book. Everything is being done by the book. That's a very, very good thing. They're embracing the KYC and the anti-money laundering, and that is a great thing. And I'll say this again, right? Everyone gets in a big thing. This is centralized. This is no good because it's no private and all the rest of it, right? But at the end of the day, there's multiple different cryptocurrencies you can use if that is what you need to have. You know what I mean? We shouldn't say, you know, there's like Monero and there's Bitcoin, and I think Dash has some privacy, although I may be wrong on that, I can't remember. But there is specific coins for specific uses. You know, so it's no the be all and end all. Every single blockchain, every single crypto must be a privacy, decentralized blockchain, because you know if that's the case, I mean, why do these people get worried about that in the first place, right? Because if that's the case, people won't use it. People will say, no, we didn't want that. We prefer this, and they'll go to the privacy networks, you know. So it doesn't make sense to. I'm trying to find a better word than the word I was going to use, which is not suitable because it's a swearing word. But why come across and start, you know, causing all these problems about all these different things? KYC and AML for Electroneum, absolutely fantastic, because it means that, you know, if you imagine you're in that position, you go to these businesses and they're like, yeah, well, this is great, we'll do a deal with you, and you think, brilliant, we're going to, this is a start, this is a route in, you know, and then their legal team comes and says, well, actually, these are the problems, right? So you implement the solutions to those problems, and you know that if X company and Y company is saying we require KYC, you know that Z company and S company, did I already say S? I can't remember, and B and F, they're going to want KYC, they're going to want AML. So there we go, Electroneum right in there, very important move and decision they've made, even if it was against, you know, the blockchain principles, because really we've discussed that a few moments ago. There's different coins. So they've got all these great moves being made, and then you have the fact that Electroneum's doing instant payments, and those payments will eventually just be instant from account to account. So you've got an instant payments with an extremely low transaction fee, and any vendor, it will be the case in future, will be able to very easily integrate this, and I've integrated it before. I mean, I've had it on the site, it's been integrated, it's very easy, it's very simple to set up. The transaction fees were very minimal. We had PayPal on the site, and you guys will all know how much I was just disgusted with PayPal for what they collected as a fee. 3.4% of the total transaction plus 20 pence, and that was up to, you know, a certain amount, and then it would get slightly lower, but it was still ridiculous. And then they had a fantastic cross-border fee, which was just, to me, you know, you're looking at these things and you're thinking, cross-border fee for what? It's just a digital transaction, you know what I mean? It's just, you're not having to come across the border in a car and stop and pay a toll and all the rest of it. Where are you getting this cross-border fee? This is ridiculous. I've got something called Electroneum, and there's no cross-border fee. I can send it anywhere in the world. And it costs nothing. Of course, if I had been selling, I was selling ETN through PayPal, so I couldn't accept instant payments. You know what I mean? But if I was selling something else, and I could have a look at the options available to me, and you bet that I looked through every damn thing to try and get the cheapest thing I could, and I did end up with one that was slightly cheaper. However, the payment schedule that they ran for actually giving you the money that you'd earned was ridiculous. You know what I mean? You're talking a week's wait and all that. You know what I mean? I was like, no. It was no good at all, especially when the price of ETN's going. So I would put instant payments in hands down. Of course I would have. When I was looking at how much PayPal was taking and how much PayPal was getting, I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is a robbery. They're just raking in money for nothing, basically. Well, no, nothing. They have their brand, and they do enable the payments and everything, so, you know, I'm not going to say that they're doing nothing, but the amount of money they're taking per transaction for realistically what they had to do, and if you multiply how many transactions they'd be doing, you know, just alone within that hour, it was frightening to think how much money they would be making from basically nothing. Remember I said. So it's a no-brainer. Electronic instant payments. The one thing is, they have to have instant cash out for all vendors. They'll have to have that, because, you know, it's all very well. I mean, it's maybe, you know, when ETN becomes widely accepted and you could actually just take your ETN and buy whatever you wanted, the same as you would with fiat, then maybe you could forget about that. But at the moment, you know, at the early stages and at the mid stages, they're going to have to allow vendors to be able to get that turned into cash ASAP. And I think they do have the ability to do that, actually. I'll have to do a bit more research on that. But I think that it's either they can do it or it's coming, you know. So, of course, so now that means that any vendor anywhere can basically either claw back that money that was going to PayPal into their business, or remove it from the price of their product, making them more competitive, whatever, or a split of that. So whatever happens, it's better for the business. Say they split it 50-50, it's better for the business, and it's better for the customer, because they're both getting it cheaper, you know? And you can have that in any website, any business, you know, you can have it point of sale, I think, coming in future. That's basically that's basically a massive competitor to PayPal and all other payment services. And what are they going to do? How are they going to provide? They'll have to completely slash their fees to compete with that. You know, and if Electroneum builds up a good brand image, they could take PayPal. Definitely take PayPal. They could be either the or one of the biggest players in the payment sort of sector. You know what I mean? So we're talking that's big business. Big business. And I know that Electroneum have said before that they plan to add on, you know, a transaction fee or some sort of fee to vendors for each transaction, and probably to create a revenue stream for themselves. And all I would hope is that that transaction fee is ridiculously small, you know, so that Electroneum maintains that massive advantage. Because, you know, that is the main reason that you're going to use Electroneum Instant Payments, isn't it? That is the reason. Because otherwise you'll just use PayPal, wouldn't you? Or you just use, you know, Stripe or something like that. But if you can, it's going to make such a huge difference in monetary value. Plus, it's going to be, you know, more of a hassle for you to use Electroneum, especially at the start to mid-term, than it is to use anything else, you know. But then we'll see. I just hope they don't go crazy with the fee, that transaction fee that they claim, and it turns it into, well, it's marginally better, but yeah, it's not that great. You know what I mean? And then people just go, well, we'll just stick with this. But hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't push that transaction fee up too high. They've got Chris Gorman, OBE, who is in the mobile industry. You know, he's got contacts. He's their like golden ticket for to have on board in a mobile-based business. That, even having him on board, has got to say to you more than half a penny in future. You know what I mean? Because these are big players. You know what I mean? These are big guys. Chris Gorman is big name in mobile and technology. He's going to have some fantastic contacts within that industry, and that is a golden ticket for Electroneum, this guy is, in my opinion. So there's that to keep in mind. If you're just, I mean, if you're going to discount even just that, then you're going to say to yourself, well, sure, this is going to do pretty damn well, because they seem to have all the parts in place. You know, it's not just a random, you know what I mean? These things are in place specifically for a reason. It gives people some degree of financial freedom if you have basically your own bank on your phone. That's quite a powerful thing to have. I don't like banks, right? That's the first thing I'm going to say. I don't like banks.